days, y'all. 3 days until the Buckeyes kick off in the shoe versus the Texas Longhorns. Bevo steak dinner, ribeyes, tasty Hyde Park style. Let's get it, y'all. Let's get it. Please do me a favor, hit that like button, that thumbs up. Then also, right after that, subscribe. Click that subscribe button if you haven't already done it. Get that cracking immediately. All right. And we're going to dive right in to my number 3 jerseys, y'all. This one was interesting. Very, very interesting. And some of y'all might, see some of these selections as a curveball. But I have, there's a method behind the madness. So I'm going to go with my 1A as wide receiver Demetrius Stanley. Rest in peace. Demetrius Stanley passed away. I think it's going on 3 years now. I need to look that up. But he passed away from cancer. I believe it was colon cancer. Also, you men at 45 and over, go get screened for colon cancer, please. Just a little message. But great guy. He was a part of the local media here with Anthony Rothman for some years. Funny dude. He used to troll Anthony Rothman and get under his skin. It was so funny. And he was a really good wide receiver. Listen, we're not going to name him among, the elite of the elite Mount Rushmore receivers, but he was reliable, faster than you think, and had good hands. He was a good receiver here at Ohio State. With Joe Germain and Stanley Jackson. He had some big plays in the Rose Bowl in '97 against Jake Plummer. Rest in peace to Demetrius Stanley, man. Good receiver. I went with him first for the reasons I just stated, man. Honoring his legacy with him being passed away. Then my 1B, I got to go with Michael Thomas. Look at this play right here. This play, and we were just talking about this. Me and Nevada were talking about this not too long ago about how it wasn't looking too good in this game versus Alabama before this play, before Evan Spencer threw the ball. He took a fake end around and threw it to Thomas, and he barely got his foot in. I mean, he just got a sliver of grass in between his foot, and that really turned the tide. No pun intended. Going into the half, and the rest is history. Michael Thomas also, has had a great career. He's a little injured, but he's been very good. But then also, don't forget that Virginia Tech game at Virginia Tech where he put a double move on your boy, the corner, the highly touted corner, murdered him with the double move. So Michael Thomas, was just a really, really good player. Smooth route runner, great hands. And this catch right here will forever go down in Buckeye lore for sure. So here's my 1C, and I got an honorable mention, but this is going to, maybe be a little different. This is Lincoln Kinghose, man. I'm going with Lincoln Kinghose. This is why. Lincoln Kinghose is the backup quarterback at Ohio State. The backup quarterback at Ohio State is always a lightning rod. Always, listen, man, we're going to need him at some point. And what I mean by that is it doesn't necessarily mean that Sam will be hurt. It just means that maybe something will happen. Maybe he gets dinged or, it's football. It's a long season. And on top of that, I've been telling y'all for months, literally months now, that he's going to have some type of package. He's going to have something in the game plan to come in, whether it be red zone, whether it be short yardage, whether it be, middle of the field. I don't know. But Ryan Day, if y'all peeped in the press conferences lately, he's been making a point to slide it in. Like Kinghose, today he's like, you never know. He might be playing in this Texas. I mean, he keeps saying stuff like that. So I'm not going to be surprised if we see Lincoln in some type of situation in this game. Do not be shocked if you see that. Okay. So Lincoln Kinghose, shout out to him because listen, he's not a bum. Okay. I want to see his athleticism on display. I'm just curious. Saying is a starter. We've been predicting it. We've known he's a starter. But Lincoln Kinghose is a good player. He can make plays. He has athleticism. I'm curious. I want to see him on the field at some point, and I believe we will. So shout out to Lincoln. My honorable mention, some of you kiddos may not know who this is, but he is a legend. It's Bam Childress, okay? For those who know, Bam Childress was the spring game MVP Every year he played here at Ohio State. It's a running joke. Even he is a part of the running joke. Like he enjoys the running joke because Bam, and this is not a knock per se, but it never translated to the field fully to where he just didn't get off like that on the field. He was okay. He made a few plays, but he was a freaking monster in the spring games. It's hilarious. For those in the chat, please chime in if you know what I'm talking about. Number 3, Bam Childress, the spring game all-star, first-round pick. Wanted to show him some love as the honorable mention. But, yo, remember, our super chats help to go to our pay it forward military first responders. We're going to take care of them because they take care of us. Y'all know the drill. Let me bring in my brother, Funky Buck. Man, it's been a minute, brother. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, B. Moses. Thanks for having me on. It has been a bit, but I'm excited to get out here, or get be here, and game week. I cannot wait.
Yeah, what you think about my number 3s, man? Tell me. I know you in the younger crowd, so tell me your thoughts on those number 3s.
Yeah, I learn something new every day. That's the best part about, being young and being a Buckeye fan is you learn new players every single day. And going through this list with you, watch. I still tune in every day, seeing all the different numbers. It's been a learning experience. And I didn't know who the first guy was, to be honest with you, but what a touching story and a good cause for there. Obviously, Michael Thomas, we were talking about a little before the show. I was like, B, honestly, the only number 3 I really can remember right now is Michael Thomas. And he's like, well, that's one of them. I'm like, okay, that's good. And I mean, that play that you talked about, where the photo was from, that's one of my most memorable plays of all time. The pick and the run are 3 of the most. Yeah, I mean, I remember that day like it was yesterday. Those are a few Ohio State games. I remember everywhere, everything where I was, what I was doing the day, what I did after.
Oh, yeah.
And that was legend. That was a legendary game. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, B, but the honorable mention guy, Bam, he got 4 sacks in the spring game, was it?
No, he was a receiver.
He was a receiver. Who was the guy? There's someone else who got a ton of sacks, right? I'm not tripping on
I know
that.
who you're talking about, and it's going to come to me because he's similar in he had a huge spring game, but I can't remember the name. But no, Bam Childress is a receiver.
A receiver, gotcha.
Little quick guy. I mean, he'd be out there catching and just tearing it up, moving the chains. And, I mean, just burning cats. But it just never fully translated to the field. If you would have watched the spring game, you would have been like, "Oh, he's about to be a dog." And again, Bam, you out there, we love you. Not saying you nothing negative. It's just we know the story. It just never fully translated to how it was in the spring game. But yes, he was a receiver.
Seems to me like he could try out for the USA flag football team, maybe in the Olympics in LA.
Oh yeah, he would be a dog in that for sure. And then what did you think about me pointing out Lincoln, man, and the reasons why?
Right. Well, Lincoln's absolute stand-up kid, and you're totally right. We're gonna need the backup quarterback. I mean, last year, with big 6'5" Will Howard, we needed the backup quarterback. I mean, versus Michigan State, should have had him versus Michigan, and then in general, dirt time, the backup quarterback, someone needs to play. And Lincoln, he could have transferred and went to Iowa or one of these lower level Big Ten schools, or even not a Power 5 school, and definitely start it because he's a dang good player. So Lincoln, great kid. His recruitment was a fun one to follow back in our 2022, was it now? So kudos to him, and you're totally right about him, and he's definitely going to play versus Texas. Maybe Lincoln rushing touchdown, the first touchdown in the game, maybe, and then I'll be excited. I'm just so excited for that game in general.
Me too, man.
Yeah, I'm jitty this week. I'm getting a little nervous, I'm getting a little stutter in the voice, a little bit breaking, but no, I'm excited. It's gonna be a fun time. It's gonna be a real fun time.
Yeah, man. It's like the closer you get, the more you're realizing how big this is. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, with the game day and Corso's last time put on the headgear and Big Noon. And I mean, just number 1 Texas coming in here. I mean, it's getting real. Like, yo, this is actually about to happen. Opening the game up in your first game with let's just be honest. Most teams, start off their season with a warm up, and then week 2, they play the big boy, or week 3 or whatever. So this is different, man. And so one of these teams is going to be 0-1. A very good elite team is going to be 0-1 after this. That's the reality of this. And so it's just starting to hit me like, yo, like this is about to go down. It's about to be crazy. So go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. And there's tiers of teams too. Like you could schedule a MAC
Yeah.
team, you could schedule a low-level Power 5 team, or you can schedule Texas, you can schedule Ohio State. There's just levels of this. I mean, you could ask a group of college football analysts who are the top 4 teams in the country, and 99% of them are going to have Texas and Ohio State in that top 4, in that tier 1 of teams in college football. So this is absolutely different, B, and you're totally right. I could feel it in the air too, everywhere. You could really, really, really feel it, and I'm excited, bro. It's gonna be a good, yeah. I cannot wait. I'll be flying out Friday night for that game, and I'm glad we can talk about it here today.
Yeah, and again, as we mentioned yesterday, the vast majority of analysts are picking Texas. And like I said, I'm not mad about that. I'm not upset. I mean, listen, Texas is a really good team. They got talent all over the place like we do. So I'm not tripping off of that. Like I said, the only issue I have is the whole they're going to blow us out thing. That's just ridiculous to me. This is their first game too. They're replacing a lot of people too. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to get into some more details about that. But I like the fact that we are seemingly, I know in Vegas, we're technically not underdogs, but most people are picking against us. So we kind of are. And like I said, the team knows this. The coaching staff, they're selling that. They're pushing that. And rightly so. You're going to come into the shoe, like, the champs and what blow us out, or we just have no chance. Like what? Like, nah, that's not going to fly. So obviously with the first game, execution is key, knowing your assignment, playing clean, keeping down the penalties, all of that stuff, I'm sure is being hammered home. And so, yeah, the most prepared team will win, Funky. And we're gonna get into the topic of the show with Arch Manning. And so I kind of want to just hand it off to you and let you get it cracking, man, with this title of the show and kind of, parse some things out, man. Look at both columns, pros, cons, and all that other stuff. We're gonna break it down. Go ahead, brother.
And before, if we call someone over or underrated, you have to discuss and agree upon how are they rated? What are people rating them? And right now, we're holding Arch Manning to the standard of, future first overall pick in the draft, Heisman favorites, and looked at as the best quarterback in college football right now. So before me or B, critique that, that's a standard we're holding him to, because that's a standard that the public is holding him to, and that's what he's being publicly rated as, is literally the best quarterback in college football right now and future first overall pick. Good. So to get into a little bit, I have to say that he's overrated. And this is not going to be Arch Manning hate. This is not going to be anything like that. But if I just go through the pros and cons, I watched the 45-minute YouTube video of every single play of Arch Manning has in his entire career at Texas. And what I see is the pros, he's extremely mobile, extremely mobile. And he's fast, legit fast and mobile, and a bigger kid. He looks big out there, and he's willing to take shots. And then he clearly has a big arm, because him and Matthew Golden and Isaiah Bond connected for some big touchdowns last year are mostly versus some of the worst, lesser good teams. But still, I mean, his arm was clearly there. He clearly has a big arm, a big kid, not as scared to throw the ball down the field. But then you look at the cons, B. You look at his inaccuracy. He had a habit of overthrowing balls. He had a habit of holding the ball too long. He took some sacks, had some unexplainable picks, and just made some mistakes that you see from a young quarterback. Mm-hmm. So we're putting that all in the equation, and he's going into Columbus. So he's on the road. do I really think Arch Manning's going to have all the success also breaking in all these new wide receivers? Because their one guy is really good. What's his name? The 5-star Wingo. Yeah, Wingo is real good. Wingo's a really, really good player, and I could definitely see him being a game breaker possibly for this game. But when you start getting to the wide receiver 2 and their wide receiver 3 and their tight ends, I don't know if the support is there, B. I just don't know. I don't know. And I see a lot of question marks with Arch, as in he was never really played legit competition before. Anyone besides for UNLV or Texas State or whatever the heck teams he was playing last year. It's just different. It's just different. And I'm not as high on him as most people are, I would say. I think I would rather 10 or more college quarterbacks currently in college football for this game versus Ohio State than Arch Manning. So that's my 2 cents on it, but I'll give you the mic here, B.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm still processing and evaluating, and I'm glad you kind of laid the groundwork of, because it's important. If you're going to ask the question if someone's overrated, where are they rated? I think that's fair. And I think everyone knows that and that's why I made the thumbnail that I made, as I grinned the whole time making it with Paul Feinbaum in the background, glazing him. They've literally crowned him. I mean, Paul Feinbaum leading the charge, but it's not just him. The media, especially the SEC media, I mean, he's it. Like, this is the guy. It's his time to shine. And, Heisman favorite and first round, all that stuff. And so it's just what it is. So the question is that true? Is that going to come to pass? Does he deserve that right now? Those are the questions that I have. I'm going to show y'all a tweet that I thought was interesting, and it kind of reminded me of some of the discussion that me and my boys had a while ago when he was in high school getting recruited. And here's a Twitter handle, to show him love. But it says, I've been saying this for years now. While in high school, he never won a state title, never took his team to a state title game, never took his team to a state semifinal game, never set or broke any Louisiana State records, never threw more than 35 TDs in a season, got boat raced several times. So I thought about that like, Now, I can't confirm all of those things. I do know most of that is right, just from off the top of the head following the recruitment. But the point is that in high school, I remember talking about, like, I just wasn't as impressed. And I was asking the question back then, like, if his last name wasn't Manning, would he be getting all of this, fanfare and excitement and rave reviews? Because, I mean, he's not trash. I mean, he's a talented kid. But I just didn't see, like, I was just like, he just doesn't, the competition, I mean, it just didn't look great. Like I said, what he just mentioned in the tweet, the attributes, I just wasn't overly impressed with him. And I always wonder, and I still wonder now, is he getting these accolades that he's getting now before really doing anything prematurely? And it's just like, you just wonder, because yes, Funky, I've watched him too. I went back and watched him. This is what scares me about him. He does have a big arm. Okay, he can make throws down the field. If a receiver gets behind one of our guys and he has time to throw, he will get it there. His legs, he's not Braxton Miller. I think with the caliber of athlete that we have, he's not about to just juke people at their shoes. He's going to have to find a crease in a lane. And if he does, then it could be scary because he is fast. He's faster than you think he would be. Those are things that concern me off the rip. But again, going back and watching him, is that he held the ball too long. He was playing against, I think it was UTEP. Was it UTEP? But anyway.
It's UNLV.
Was it UNLV? Okay, because I watched several clips.
Was ULM, University of Louisiana Monroe.
Yes, that's who it was. The blue and white team. Yes, thank you. They brought pressure, and I mean, he folded a few times, almost threw a pick, got sacked, just back there. You know what I'm saying? And there was times where he just didn't handle pressure well. And so now on the flip side, again, there was times where, like that play they always show where he scrambles out of the pocket to run, the defenders come up and he flips it over, to the right by the sideline, and the receiver dives in. I mean, that was a slick play. That was nice. That's a great highlight. So he has playmaking ability and savvy. I just don't know, can he stand tall in the pocket under pressure, read the defense, and just throw darts back there consistently against an elite defense, against the Caleb Downs back there, against, corners, NFL corners, safeties. Can he do that? So that's kind of my question. And I got more to say, but I want you to jump in, Funky, and respond to what I'm saying, because I thought you were about to say something. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I don't know if, I don't think Arch has proven anything. So all these expectations that are people sending on him aren't his fault.
Right.
This is just outward noise of it. This has nothing to do with Arch and Arch Manning. And if his last name, this expectation probably wouldn't be put on him to be what this is. If his name was Arch, whatever, he probably would just be, your average 5-star quarterback who's pretty hyped and people are excited to watch. Julian Sayin is, people aren't going into this game thinking, oh, Julian Sayin can't miss, top 5 quarterback in the league. They're like, oh, he has some question marks here. Right. We just got to see it. We got to see it first. And that's really how we should always approach this. So when we're calling Arch Manning overrated, we're not saying, oh, man, he's trash, or he might not be the best quarterback in the league. Not at all. Yeah. He very well could be the best quarterback in college football. That could be the truth. We just don't know. And to support that claim, besides for his recruiting ranking, which is, very good, but that we've seen him before. This is not something that we've not seen before. In his game, made those mistakes. He still held the ball too long. He still took some gnarly shots, and will be interesting to see how he goes into this year. Is he going to take the same shots that he was able to do last year? I don't know. I don't think so. He got concussed in the Ohio State game, B. Okay, no, you go. You have something to say.
No, because you got, yes, bro. Like that's the question, is how can he hold up? Because you're right. He got popped. He got smacked in the Ohio State game, got concussed. And I don't care what nobody say. It looks like he fumbled. Okay. So here's my question, Funky, and everybody. And to me, just not even as an Ohio State fan, my concern, if I was a Texas fan, is this. Because, okay, Sark wants to get in here and be efficient and move the chains, right? He wants to get in here, just move the chains. You're a first-time starter in a game like this on the road. All those starts don't count compared to this. You ain't never seen this on the road, on a big stage. You obviously want to get your quarterback to calm down, and you want to try to lean into his strengths. Well, one of his strengths is his legs. So there's the little line that you walk, the tightrope that you have to walk. Do you dial up Q draws? Do you dial up zone read? Do you dial up just QB keepers? Do you get him on the edge, boot him out with the option to run or pass, with the risk of him getting hit? We have some fast and ferocious Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese, and Caleb Downs will smack you. McLean will smack you. Our DNs, Edric Houston, McDonald, whatever. Like, we got dudes. So that's the question, Funky, is how durable is he? How much does Sark want to run him to get the chains moving and to get him going? That's the question, because earlier, like I said, I think Sark is he's going to throw bubbles out, to the edge, make our guys tackle in space. They love outside zone, inside zone, wide zone. That's what they love to do. But again, with the great equalizer with the quarterback run for numbers, are they going to put him in harm's way early in this game to establish things and get the chains moving? Like, what? That's my question. That is like my number one question, bro, because you're right. I don't know if he can take shots like that, Funky.
You just can't. Not week one. If this is the national championship game, you can do it. If this is the semifinals game, you can do it. But week one, I would hate to see it. have us run Julian Saints 10 times versus Texas or run Will Howard 10 times versus Texas. I just don't think that's smart long-term plan when you have a guy like Arch Manning on your team who he has a very, very strong arm, and he could definitely win this game with his arm. He doesn't need his legs. The legs could definitely help him win the game, and he will use his legs, but you don't need it. You get what I'm saying, right, B?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're not so reliant on him. He's not like Jalen Milroe or, JT Barrett, who really need to use their legs to open up the field and win some football games. Arch got more than good enough arm, but he's never played. He's never thrown the ball in college football like this. His practice is whatever reps he's getting during practice, and same with Julian. So a lot of these things we're saying about Arch can be said about Julian as well. I mean, Julian hasn't thrown against real cornerbacks yet. He's played versus like Western Michigan and a few plays versus Tennessee. So I mean, Julian's barely played too. So all these can be said just about him as well. So it'll be interesting to see which quarterback can handle the pressure the most, which quarterback won't make a mistake, because both these quarterbacks could, throw a pick in the red zone. These quarterbacks both could, or they both can make great red zone touchdown passes. You got to score some touchdowns, convert some third downs. Urban Meyer went on a show and he said, when you have a young quarterback like Julian, you just got to tell him, 2 first downs. You got to get 20 yards. Which quarterback can get 20 yards the most? Is that Julian? Is that Arch? It's going to be a battle. It's going to be an absolute battle, because I think both teams feel like they have an advantage on their defensive line versus offensive line. I feel like both teams feel like they have an advantage also on wide receivers. I think so. It'll be very interesting to see how these two things get used, because I think the teams are going to be attacking the ball down the field and trying to get to the quarterback as quick as possible. I think this is going to be a big time throw game. They're going to be trying to connect him for deep shots, and I can see Ohio State doing the same thing, obviously, with our weapons that we have.
Yeah, so that's good. Let's get into Julian. Okay, we're gonna talk about Julian, because to your point, Funky, yes, you can say the same thing about Julian. However, just to kind of, bring things back around and to reiterate, Julian's not the one that's a Heisman candidate right now. He's not the one that's been anointed as the next greatest thing in college football, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So Julian he has pressure because he's an Ohio State quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but he doesn't have the expectations Arch Manning has on him right now. So psychologically, there's a difference with that. But also with saying the advantage he has, not only that advantage psychologically, but being at home and the weapons that he has. I was just looking and, I was just reminded, like, oh, yeah, Gunnar Helm is gone. Their stud tight end. Texas's stud tight end is gone. That is a serious security blanket for Arch Manning if he was still here. Now, maybe the new tight ends are good. I haven't heard much, but they're still unproven. Gunnar Helm was proven. On the flip side, Max Clare is proven. Jeremiah Smith is proven. Carnell Tate, etc. So just those 3 guys alone are proven monsters. And so, like you said, I mean, in the red zone, we need a touchdown, and they're in man. I know they typically play zone, but they tend to, play man more in the red zone, depending on the situation. The point is this. Sayin has better weapons at his disposal, especially in that situation. Like, Wingo's a dog, but who would you rather have, Funky? And I'll just quickly ask you this, and I can keep going. Who would you rather have in a one-on-one fade route situation in the red zone, J.J. Smith or Wingo? 50-50 ball.
Funny. Jeremiah.
Right?
Yeah, clearly,
right.
Obviously, yeah.
Okay. So there you go. So there's that. Again, Wingo is really good. I'm just making a point. And then the same thing with Claire. I don't know their tight ends. Maybe their tight end is all world. But Gunnar Helm was really good. Big guy, really good. Give me Claire over their tight ends in the end zone. Shoot, give me Jelani Thurman. The point is that Sayin has weapons at his disposal that he doesn't have to overdo it. Find the coverages, find the matchups, and make the throw. You're gifted at throwing the ball. Our guy is going to go get it. He just can't, like Urban Meyer. That was a great video. I'm glad you brought that up, because he was saying you just got to just not mess it up. Just don't screw it up. Don't try to do too much. play within the scheme, make the throws, and just don't force anything. You don't have to force anything. You know what I'm saying? If Julian can play clean and do that, and really show enough maturity to where I'm not going to force this. I'm going to pick up that 4 yards so that it's 3rd and 2 and not 3rd and 6. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Just do that. You don't have to be the savior. And so and again, he'll have Ohio Stadium behind him, backing him up with all those weapons. So, I mean, to me, that's the flip side of it with Julian, is the pressure, to me, is on Arch Manning mostly. Would you agree with that?
100%. The pressure's on Texas in general this game, B. That's where the pressure
Yeah.
is. Steve Sarkisian is on the hot seat, or a little bit. His seat's a little warm. Ryan Stade's seat is ice cold until that one game in November where it's going to steam up like it always does, no matter what. You can be Urban Meyer,
Right.
and that your seat's going to be hot come November. For Texas, they kind of have to win this game, because we can talk about how hard our schedule is, B, but compared to Texas' schedule, give us our schedule over their schedule any day of the week. So they need this win. Just as badly as we do. But we just won the Natty, so that's the big difference here. And you could look at that a few different ways. You can look at it as they're going to be more hungry, or you can look at it as they're going to this over their heads. They're going into this, trying to an extent, over prepare for this game, and we know how Ryan Day gets. Steve Sarkisian kind of gets the same way. Steve Sarkisian called one of the worst goal line play calling I've ever seen. He did. He kind of lost in that game. Ohio State played their worst game in the entire playoffs. Actually played a very poor game. Will Howard threw a pick. Then we did a few things. We had a personal foul penalty, Trayvon, and we were playing bad. The offensive line was struggling versus their defensive line, because they had, their defensive line last year was ridiculous. All 3 of those guys were drafted in the first 3 rounds, and then the other guy who didn't is probably the best guy out of all of them, Colin Simmons, who's returning. So this year, their defensive line, especially the interior, I want to see Ohio State attack. But to go into the pressure points, the pressure is on. Julian Saint's not the Heisman favorite. It's Arch Manning. And even though we are the favorites, hypothetically, according to Vegas, if you ask 50 analysts who thinks winning the Texas-Ohio State game, I bet you 35 of them pick Texas. So that people think it's the popular take. Oh, remember like last year's Texas-Ohio State game? Fun fact: Texas and Ohio State have the same amount of players make NFL rosters today from their last year's team. Same exact. Given there's some flags behind that, but if you want to go more into it, Josh Simmons didn't even play in that game versus Texas, so that's one less. So you could really argue Ohio State had less players that actually make NFL rosters compared to Texas. But the notion right now is that Texas is this mega power and Ohio State is replacing a lot. No one seems to mention what Texas lost, which was their entire defensive line. Literally, or besides for, let's start Colin Simmons, but 3 guys got drafted in the first 3 rounds, higher than Jack Sawyer, higher than Ty Hamilton. So these guys were, legit superstars, bro. So I'm really excited to see what our offensive line can do against their defensive line, because I think that we actually have the benefit there compared to these other, if you ask a Texas guy about that, they would say they think their defensive line is going to, maul our offensive line, which we will see. There's a lot of question marks. That's kind of the overwhelming theme of this show, is that there's just so many question marks, an insane amount, because we don't really know. We can just this is just a lot of guessing, a lot of educating guessing, but it's just, at the end of the day, it is just a lot of guessing. But we have the schedule pulled up. I can't really see it be. So do you think it's harder than Ohio State's schedule this year, or what's your 2 cents?
Yeah, I wanted to get into that because as I got Ohio State's pulled up too. Now this is Texas right now on the screen. I can only share one screen at a time, but we can go back and forth. But as I'm looking at both, bro, I don't know. Like, here's Texas' schedule. Obviously, they're at Ohio State. Then they got San Jose State, and then UTEP, and then Sam Houston. 3 cupcakes. Okay. Now they got to go on the road to number 15, Florida. I'm I don't know if I'm convinced. Listen, caveat. You know how the SEC does, man. They get overrated preseason all the time. I don't know how good Florida's going to be. Maybe they're good. Maybe they're worthy of being a top 15 team. Excuse me. I don't know. Then they go on. I'm sorry. They're at home against Oklahoma, number 18 Oklahoma. Then they got at Kentucky, at Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, and then of course a tough one at number 5 Georgia. Then Arkansas, and then Texas A&M, number 19. So that's 5 ranked teams. Okay. Here's our schedule. Texas at the crib, number 1, playing the number 1 team in the country. Then Grambling, Ohio, at Washington, which I know they're not ranked, but that's a tough game. Okay. Minnesota at Illinois, number 12, another tough game, ranked team. At Wisconsin, that's going to be tough. That's always tough. Penn State, number 2 at the crib. At Purdue, UCLA, Rutgers, and then at 14, Michigan. So I think I'll give Texas the slight edge because they got one more ranked team, but they're also playing 2. They got 2. Okay, never mind about Florida.
I don't know about
at
that.
Ohio
Yeah.
State and at Georgia. At Ohio State and at Georgia, those are 2 top 5 road games. That's tough.
Yeah.
I'll give them the edge, but I'm simply saying they're comparable with Texas having a slight edge because our schedule is nipping at their heels. And also, Funking, we'll see as the season plays out how things shift. Who's a pretender, who's a contender. That'll kind of really also tell us, how good these teams are that will be playing. But they're comparable, but I'll give Texas the nod because those 2 road games.
Yeah, you're right.
Ohio State of Georgia's a beast.
It's the road games. It's the road games. It's not the opponents. It's those 2 top road games. You can't. Having to go at Ohio State and at Georgia as your 2 hardest games is harder than having to play at home versus Texas and at home versus Penn State. So you're totally right. I agree with that standpoint. But you're right. Ohio State's schedule is. We have a beast. We have a beast to slay this upcoming season. And talking about that, we talked about a little bit this morning. The committee changed their ranking system a little bit going into this year, where they're going to favor the strength of schedule a lot more than what they usually do. Which I think is very important because I think there's a real world. And sorry, this might sound like copium. This might sound like a lot of that stuff, but I think there's a real world where you see a 9-3 Texas team or 9-3 Ohio State team make the playoffs this year. We forgot Bama was very close to making the playoffs last year, extremely close.
Yeah.
And this year with these we're really going to care about who you play and really they're underlining it, with 3 different markers and highlighting it. I could see a possible world where the loser of Ohio State, Texas ranking barely gets affected. Clearly, we have to see how the game is played. This is all me saying if Ohio State wins by a field goal or Texas wins by a field goal, or if we win by, let's say exactly what happened last time we played Texas happens again. I don't think Texas or Ohio State would get punished for that at all, really. At all. And maybe I'm completely wrong, and maybe it'll be how it was last year, where every time you get a loss, you get moved behind all the teams who didn't lose. The 10-2 teams are ranked ahead of the 9-3 teams. That could very, very well happen. But I do have some hope this year because of the new committee stuff. And underlining gives me some PTSD. But talking about it for this game, I just have some hope that they're going to be a little smarter this year, which just give me a little less stress going into this game, knowing that, hey, maybe this is just a good thing for us. Maybe this is not going to be a total bad thing for us, and they're going to want us to continue scheduling these big boy teams.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, man. Like I said earlier, I never thought, unless Paul Feinbaum was right and we just got absolutely stroked at the crib by Texas, which I do not see happening. Other than that, a tough loss to Texas, I never really thought I was going to do anything. But with this update that they have with that you referenced, that's even better. And it's beautiful because it's week 1, and it's just like that's like an eternity. You looking at week 10, or whatever, not even week 10. I think the rankings come out like week 6, week 7, or something like that, or week 8, something like that. That's like an eternity ago. when you played week 1. So, yeah, I mean, the strength of schedule wasn't an issue last year for us, and it certainly won't be an issue this year. So if we do fall to Texas at the crib, then yeah, we're good. I mean, I'm not really concerned or worried about it. And it's one of those things, man, as fans, you know, the anxiety is there of dang, like we gotta play. It's like it's a conflict. It's like, man, I'm so excited for this huge game, but you also know the chances of losing the opener is exponentially greater than playing Akron. And so it's that anxiety and excitement in combination. But I'm ready to go, man. I'm ready to go. I believe in this team. I believe they'll be ready. I believe they'll be playing into the we still got some dogs on this team. We got great leadership on this team. We got great coaches. And one thing I'm going to say this real quick, and then we can move on to super chats, is that I keep hearing some analysts say we have 2 new coordinators. Like, to me, that's not – that lacks context. Hartline has been in this program for 9 years, okay? He knows the system. He was very involved last year down the stretch with the passing game coordination. So it's not like we're bringing a new guy from the outside and he's putting his system in. Like, when you just hear, oh, they got 2 new coordinators, well, let's drill down a little deeper. It's not just 2 new random coordinators. It's Brian Hartline, who's been here, who also has the safety net of Ryan Day to fall back on as he gets going. Like, that matters. That's a big difference. Is Hartline plays the first time going to be a challenge and a question mark? Of course. But you can't just discount all of those things I just mentioned. It's not the same as just bringing in a new coordinator who doesn't know the system, the culture, etc. On the flip side, Matt Patricia, he's not overhauling the system. That I keep seeing these takes out there, Funky, and that's why I'm addressing it. They're talking as if he's bringing in a whole new system and the players got to learn a new. No, that's not the case. It's still the 4-2-5 principled defense that we're running. 4 down linemen. He's going to come in and bring his flavor, his tweaks, different things within the scheme that, are NFL-like, that are multiple, maybe some pre-snap stuff that eye candies you can't really tell what coverage we're in. He's going to bring that flavor, but the principles and the core will remain. So these guys haven't had to do a complete overhaul. And that's how some of these analysts have been talking, and that's just not accurate. So are there questions? Yes, because they still have to go out there and do it. But Matt Patricia was in the league for years. He has rings, okay? Regardless of what you Matty P haters say, you Detroit Lions fans, I love y'all, but you got to get over the PTSD and use logic. He's coming here to be a D coordinator, not a head coach. He has success as a D coordinator. He's been there, done that in the NFL. He's coming down to the college ranks, okay? I don't think he's going to be intimidated by Sarkisian, is my point. So, yes, there's questions, but not as intense as some would say there are when you actually consider context. I hope that makes sense, Funky, before we hop into Super Chats.
Totally. And just add one more thing. For offensive side, Ryan Day is king there. We're running Ryan Day's offense. And then the defensive side, you think Matt P is going to walk in this building and look at Coach Walt, Larry Johnson, James Laurinaitis, and say, hey, this is what we're doing. Heck right. No, he's not. Heck no, he's not. Those 3 figures in that defensive room have a ton of say. As well as Ryan Day does. But those 3 especially have, more say in the defensive side than, most average position coaches do. So that's a big part. And I agree. Even though I do think Matty P might switch up things more than Brian Hartline might. But I think it'll be very interesting. And I'm not too stressed out. Like, I'm not stressed out about it right now because I haven't seen it. I have no idea really exactly what we're going to do. I don't know how good of a coordinator Brian Hartline is. But if I'm going to have any anxiety with any of the new staff, it'd be the play calling with Brian Hartline, just because he's never done it, I don't think. He's never done it I'm not aware of him ever calling plays for us, because he didn't even call plays for us last, in 2023, right? He got fired before the season started. Am I wrong on that? Right on that?
Well, yeah, I mean, he didn't get fired, but yeah,
Yeah,
he
not
got
fired. You get what I'm
bumped.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, Chip Kelly, he stepped back and
Yep.
learned from Chip Kelly last year, and before that, it was more of a hire to keep him here and to, hey, let's get you on the track to get there. And Ryan Day was like, hey, I'm gonna lead the charge, and then now it's his time, and it is. He's had Kevin Wilson. I mean, he's had so much tutelage and discipleship up to this point. And
Yep.
again, Ryan Day has really sung his praises about how he's come along, and just his understanding of the offense. But with that said, Funky, I don't believe for a second that Hartline is just going to be out there on his own on an island calling plays. Ryan
Oh,
Day, as you
definitely
know, will
not.
be on
Yeah.
the headset, and it'll be a tandem thing. Ryan Day will pull rank. You know what I'm saying? Like some training wheels will be on a little bit, and I don't care. Some people might perceive that as being negative. So what? And I guarantee you, Hartline don't care either because he's about winning games, and it's extremely rare for a new coordinator like this to open up their first game against the number one team in the country. So when you got a beast and proven offensive mind like Ryan Day, then it's going to be a much more of a collaborative effort with maybe even Ryan Day leading the charge in this one to get it going. So that's why my anxiety is a little lower because I just don't see this as Hartline. Okay, go out there. I'll just sit back on the headset and let you do whatever you do. I don't think that's going to be the case. Ryan Day will be very involved. And of course, leading up to this, he's had weeks to plan and come together with a really good plan so that things are efficient and flowing and the communication is there. It's a little different trying to do that from week to week in between games. So that's why I feel much better about it, Funk.
I agree. And when you have Jeremiah Smith on your team with all the other weapons
Yeah.
we have, then I don't
Yeah.
really worry about that kind of stuff with that. Yeah, but I'm excited. But yeah, let's get into the super chats.
Cool. All right. So I got a super chat from the show with Dev earlier that he missed from Lisa Shear. And she asked, thanks for the 5, Lisa. She asked, what do we eat and drink after a loss or a win? And then she said, how do we contain Simmons? And so let's start off with that. That's a good question. I'll go ahead and start off. So I'm a wings guy. I love wings. I love chicken wings. Okay. So roosters. I don't really do B-dubs all that much. Every now and then, I get the lemon pepper and the Louisiana rub for Wingstop. I'm a wing guy. Okay. So usually game day, I'm doing wings. After a loss, I'm honestly, listen, we don't lose that much, but when we do, I don't really have an appetite, to be honest with you. I mean, if we lose, maybe I'll eat a cold piece of pizza like Urban Meyer in 2013 when he lost to Michigan State in the Big Ten title game. I don't want no food after a loss because we don't lose that much. It's just like it's terrible. But I'm gonna go with wings as my answer. Funky.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, after a loss, I was like, I drink some water and go to bed. Like, I drink some water, go to bed, and delete all social media apps and try to sleep off the pain. After a win, I mean, man, good old fresh lemonade be first, some nice lemonade, and I mean, like, I would say a tri-tip sandwich. So that's pretty much that'd be my go-to. I'd say a nice tri-tip sandwich, or depending where I'm at. If I'm with my college buddies, then I might, hey, we're going to Chili's today on me or whatever. Get some, the triple dipper from Chili's. But it just depends. It depends. But we're definitely going out if on a win. After a win, we're eating pretty good. A win versus Texas, man, we're eating real good. So
Oh yeah.
I'm excited. We had some wings in Atlanta after the national championship game. Very good. Very, very good wings. We ordered way too much for not a 5 a.m. flight the next morning that I missed. But it was all good. It was because we were national championships.
Listen, I tell you what, if we beat Texas, I might mess around and go to Hyde Park. Like I love their Herb Street steak, delicious, absolutely delicious. So in
Me
honor
and
of
B. Me and B in Hyde Park after the game after a
yeah,
win.
yeah, man, let's do it. Let's do it. I mean, listen, if we slaughter Bevo on the field, we got to slaughter him in the restaurant. And so that might be the move. But also, this me and my wife hit up the Creole, the House of Creole on High Street. Fire. I want to go back there too. So I don't know, man. If we win the game, those might be the two options. I don't know, but I'm gonna want to eat good. That's for sure. But Hyde Park, you've been to Hyde Park before, right? I'm assuming you have.
Nope.
Oh,
I don't even
you
know what that
haven't?
is. I don't even know what that is.
You said you don't know what that is?
I don't know what that is. Yeah.
Bro. Yeah, it's a dope steakhouse here in Columbus. They got themed steaks like the Herb Street, the Ryan Day. You know, Coach Urban Meyer
that's
has
sweet.
a steak. Yeah, Trestle, the Jim Trestle, the Bobby Ray Hall. Like it's a really good steakhouse here off of in the Short North. Anyway, but also to your other part of your question, Lisa, how do we stop Colin Simmons? So here's another thing I'm super curious about with this game. How much 12 personnel, if any, will we run? 13 personnel. I mean, how many tight ends will we play consistently? Will the offense run through a 12 personnel type of package predominantly? If that's the case, then we'll have tight ends in the game to help block and chip and keep Simmons at bay. We can also motion a guy, in sort of an H position to be able to, depending on where Simmons is lined up, motion to that side and run the play. Like we can scheme around where Simmons is lined up, like literally like pre-snap, run the play according to where he's at and set up the blocking assignment for where he's at. Okay. So it depends. What approach are we going to have? Or are we going to say, you know what? We're not going to run predominantly 12 personnel. We're going to run the quick passing game and we're going to get the ball out of Julian's hands quick. We're going to set things up. We're going to get the defense on their heels. We're going to pop them with the run when they're expected pass. We're going to see. So, even just in general, you can use the running back to chip, just like Henderson was just blasting, blitzers when they try to come in. Hopefully Peoples and Donaldson inherited that super strength, but those are some different ways we can stop him. But I guarantee you they have a plan for Simmons. And then, of course, there's just good old-fashioned one-on-one. Maybe Phillip Daniels or Saraveld or Ethan can just swallow him up, on the edge. We'll see. And I'm looking forward to it, man. I can't wait to see what we deploy out there schematically on both sides of the ball. You got anything on that, Funky, before we move on?
Not to disrespect Colin Simmons, but he's not someone we haven't seen before. He's not some
Abdul
Aaron
Carter's
Donald.
Pretty good.
Abdul Carter was we somehow on a short week with an injured offensive line with a guard playing offensive tackle went out there and beat Abdul Carter. So yeah. It just we'll see. I think we run a lot of 12 personnel. I think we probably run chips with the running back with the tight end and get those. We help him out. We have to help out against him because he's a first round pick on the defensive end.
Yeah.
And with these kind of things, I just trust Day, and I think we see a lot of 12 personnel, and I think we see Caleb Downs within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. Those are my two opinions or / takes going into this game, just from stuff I've been hearing, but nothing too direct. Obviously, no kids are telling me the game plan, but just a little bit the tidbits. A lot of 12 personnel, and Caleb is near the line of scrimmage at all costs.
Yeah. Yep. I can see that. All right. Mark, what's up, brother? Thanks for being a Scoop Ultra member. Thanks for the 499. Number 3, Mike Sanzabal, DB punter, 1968 National Championship team. I saw him as well, and I was thinking about going with him, but I went with the ones I went with. But that's a great selection. He was definitely in my cards. I just didn't pull the trigger because I felt a little more connected to those other players growing up watching them. But yes, Mike Sanzabal was definitely worthy of that selection. You ever heard of Mike Sanzabal, Funky?
Nope. I've never heard of him.
Yeah, I mean, 1968, bro. I mean, come on, though. That's a long time ago. I mean, even for me. So, I was not on Earth yet. So, fair enough. All right, Lisa, again, what's up? Thanks for the 499. Setting aside talent and even crowd noise, which coaching staff communicates, coordinates, and best manages the game during the game? I mean, I I'm going to go with our staff because we're at home. I mean, I know you said setting aside talent and even crowd noise, but that's kind of tough to set aside. You know what I'm saying? You think about the Indiana game, which to me is a comp because it was a noon game, and this is a noon game, and the Indiana players could not hear the snap count. They could not hear anything. And so if we can get it that loud, which I believe we will, that's clearly an advantage for us as far as communicating. It just is. So I'm going to go with Ohio State. You know what I'm saying? That's just it, Funky.
I think that's the big question. I'm not even gonna give an answer because I don't have a good one. Because I don't think I trust Steve Sarkisian with much because he's done it at times, but he's also completely crapped himself at other times. And you look at our staff, and Brian Hartline's first time calling plays, so I'm just and it's just the first time for Ohio State. So I'm just gonna that's my big question mark for the game. That's the biggest question mark to me is which coaching staff is gonna call the best game.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And also who's going to adjust. Sarkeesian is going to have wrinkles. Like we can study their film. We know what they do. We know what they like to do. Like I said earlier, they love inside zone, outside zone, wide zone. They love pre-snap eye candy. When they run those zone schemes, they like to bring a why am I drawing a blank? They like to bring a guy in motion to, for the defense to declare what they're in, and also to draw away defenders with that motion. We know that's what they like to do, but they're going to have wrinkles. Just like Patricia, and I've made the argument that we haven't seen him in action in a while, and especially with this roster. So what do you prepare for? Like really prepare for? Because you don't have anything on film. So it's going to be a challenge for both staffs to adjust to what all these great minds are doing on the field. And so that's going to be fun as well. So yeah,
you're totally right there. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting because it's kind of like they have experience, I guess. I mean, see, they didn't replace any of their play callers compared to Ohio State. We're replacing both play callers, so it's who has the advantage there? The team that what we're preparing for, like we know what Texas is gonna try to do, or does Texas because we have unexperience what our play calling. You get what I'm saying, right? Sorry, I just kind of botched that, but that's gonna be the big question mark.
Absolutely. All right, chocolate chip Scoochie. Thanks for the 199. Appreciate you. JJ and saying in 2 years will be 1 and 2 in the draft. I like it. I tell you what, if saying goes that high, it's because of Jeremiah Smith and Chris Henry Jr. And you know what I mean? I mean, he's going to have guys to just zip it to, and so that's the other thing. Zip it. I can't wait to see his release and him throwing that ball around in the shoe against Texas, man, to our receivers. I cannot wait. You got anything on that, Funky?
It's just going to be so exciting, and the weather is going to be perfect. So it's going to be this is pretty much bowl game weather, but with the home field advantage. So it's pretty much flipping what we had versus Texas last year, or the opposite, where Texas had the home field advantage. Now we have the home field advantage this season. So it should be good. And I like Ryan Day's odds in bowl games. He usually shows up very, very well for these type of, bowl game. What do you mean that? I mean, perfect weather, controlled wind, because there's going to be no wind, perfect weather, nicely cut field, hopefully, or it's turf. So, I don't know, maybe the turf sucks, but we'll see.
Yeah, hopefully not. But nah, yeah. I mean, listen, man, that point is not made enough that Texas literally, Austin to Dallas is like driving from Columbus to Cleveland, like pretty close. So just imagine if we had a playoff game in Cleveland. Like, come on, dog. That's a home game. That's a home game. So, yes, now we're at home. And so, yeah, I think that matters, man. And the shoe is going to be rocking, man. I can't wait to prove the haters wrong that say the shoe is not going to be loud. It's going to be rocking. So I'm excited about that. And, yeah, I agree. Not really talking. Thanks for the 10. Go Bucks. That's it. I mean, you just want to summarize it. Boom. Go Bucks. I agree. What you got, Funk?
Absolutely, go Bucks. I'm so, bro. You know me, B. Yeah, I'll be. Actually, I probably won't be on the show next Sunday. We'll see. Whatever. If I'm on a show next Sunday, you'll hear my voice, and B will hear it
Yeah.
after the game. If we win, B will hear it after the game at the steakhouse. So it'll be non-existent. So maybe I should add a
Yeah.
T to my post win or lose drinking.
Yeah. No, that's bro.
A
Like
nice
we need to win because I
chai
can
tea
taste that
latte.
steak
Yeah.
now. Yeah. Now, see, now I want Hyde Park.
I'm excited. Yeah.
I want Hyde Park now. So we need to win. All right, Mike Green, what's good, brother? Thanks for 199. Zach Smith said B Hart was struggling in practice. Well, that's fine. If he's struggling, guess what? Ryan Day is his safety net. That is the beautiful thing about this situation, is that we have one of the, if not the best, and you can say him and Sark are the two best in the country at play calling. So again, I know Ryan Day got knocked, and shout out to my guy Dewan. He made a really good point. I think if Ryan Day is confident that the defense is taken care of, that Matt Patricia is the head coach of the defense, just like he tried to make Knowles, and he was, then I think because Ryan Day has won a lot of games by being the offensive coordinator and the head coach. Now, obviously, it had to get to a point we had to transition, but let's not act like he hasn't won games as the head coach and the play caller. He has. Shoot, that Georgia game that we lost by a point with a missed field goal, he was masterful in that game calling plays. So if Hartline is struggling in practice, if that's true, I'm not really concerned about that because you have Ryan Day to fall back on. And it's just win, baby. Just win. Like, let's worry about Brian Hartline struggling or not doing good enough or whatever after the game. Just win and we'll figure it out. That's just how I feel about it, Funky.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. There's you should have some question marks with Hartline. Everyone does. So will he struggle versus Texas in his first ever game calling plays? I mean, that's a safe bet that he'll have some struggles. That's a very, very safe bet. But I mean, I don't think it means much because I think 99% of humans existing would have struggles calling plays versus Texas if it was their first time ever doing it. So,
for sure.
It should be interesting though. I'm excited to see what Hartline does because he does have a lot of people to prove. I'm not trying to say anything, but I think Hartline has a lot of people that he needs to, prove wrong because he was in this position before and he didn't succeed in it. So it should be exciting to see what he does because I mean I have some worries, but we'll see. That's the greatest thing of this whole thing is we shall see. Maybe, yeah. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. All right, cool. And then Lisa, once again, how about play that music, Buckeyes? That's trying to say, hey, listen, I don't know if you saw Funky, but Nevada was talking about, the stadium song to get it cracking at the end of the third quarter should be play that funky music, white boy. Now, have you heard that song? I'm sure you've heard that song before, right?
I definitely have, and I actually did hear that on the pod yesterday, and he's totally right.
Okay.
Having the not hot take, but like hang on Snoopy after the third quarter, great song, but man, I wish there was something to fire us up, get a little rocket in the shoe.
Yeah, and like I said yesterday, because I gotta mention this, I love Hang On Sloopy. Like I love it. It's great for what it is, for what it does. But the context of this is, y'all, before y'all go crazy on us, is that he mentioned Wisconsin. They got to jump around at the end of the third quarter, and Oregon has shout. Get your hands up and shout. They do that at the end of the third quarter. It's the tradition. It gets the stadium cracking, all that. Hang On Sloopy, to me, like that will remain as what it is. But we were saying we also would need something comparable to those songs to get the stadium really going. Because Hang On Sloopy, that's just not. It's a different animal. It's a different vibe. It's dope. It's traditional. We love it, but it's not the same as Jump Around. Like we would need something equivalent to that. And so he was saying, that's related to Ohio, that's from Ohio, Steubenville, you know, play that funky music, white boy. Like that's an example. So that's kind of the background for those who can see the pod. And you know, I think that's an idea. You know what I'm saying? Our Mike super chat here. Funky, I'm sorry, this is all Matty P defense. Funky, I'm sorry, this is all Matty P defense. I'm not sure what he's referring to or what he's responding to.
Oh, I think he's being sarcastic. That people are trying to say this is Matty P. This is all, this is the defense is going to be exactly what he wants it to be. Because that's what a lot of people are saying.
Okay.
Or online. That's the criticism.
Gotcha.
Well, that's what I think what he means. So, but yeah, he'll have his say in it for sure. But we all know that it has to be approved by them old heads in the room first, or the old heads and the goats, as in James.
Oh, he's talking about your comments. Okay, so let me fill in the blank, and then so basically, Mike, he had this interviews. He made it clear that the guy he brings in is going to come in and assimilate to what we were the #1 defense last year. These coaches are proven. That's why, like, they're still here. Like, they did a great job. I mean, OG Walt as a co-coordinator, like, these guys know what they're doing. The system here has players and the coaches. So he made the hire. It came with the expectation of you're going to come in and just assimilate to the foundation that we have, and then you're just going to bring your brilliance over top of it. The beautiful thing about Matt Patricia is he is as multiple can be as far as a coordinator. There's some coordinators who are just pigeonholed to a certain scheme. Not him, not Matt Patricia. He literally can assimilate to any scheme. So it's not like it's not his defense. It's like it's okay. It's a 4-2-5. Okay, cool. That's the principles. Boom. I got something for that. Oh, you run a 3-3-5 at this school? Oh, I got something for that too. Like, it doesn't matter. So I agree with you that it's Matty P's defense, but he's just coming into if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and just adding his flavor and everything on top of it to just make it even better. I think that's a good way to explain it, Funky.
Yep, I agree. You explained it perfectly. There's nothing more needs to be said.
Oh, hey, man, thanks for the 199. Be remember, I like pina coladas. Yes. Every time I hear that song, I think about the Adam Sandler Grown Ups. Have you ever seen Grown Ups, Funky?
Of course, yeah. I was going to say, of course. Sorry.
So they kept playing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I mean, definitely love that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm going with Funky Music White Boy over that for the stadium. But yes, I know that song and very familiar, and it brings a smile to my face for the reasons I just stated. But listen, great show. Great to have Funky back. You know, for those who don't know, we used to rock every Sunday, before we transition over up. So this is my guy, my brother. I can't wait to see him on Saturday. We're going to kick it, have fun. Hopefully we'll be celebrating a victory. Tomorrow, we are going to have a special guest, another former Ohio State football player on the show tomorrow. Excited about that. And we'll let you know who that is tomorrow on the show, real time. And we're going to give our last thoughts on the matchup and our score predictions tomorrow. And so we're excited about that, man. You got any last words, Funk?
Always good to be here with B. Moses. Always a blessing. Great working with you. Thanks for everyone watching. And go Buckeyes. The next time I see y'all, we will be 1-0 or 0-1. So it should be interesting no matter what. But yeah, always a blessing to be here. And thanks, y'all.
Yeah. Either way, regardless, it's go Bucks. But I believe we're going to be 1-0. We're going to be 1-0. Let's go.